My boss fired me on my anniversary, so I let him lose a $10 million contract. My boss didn't just fire me on my wedding anniversary. He did it while I was standing in the lobby with my wife. He thought he was being efficient by cutting my salary to save the company money, but he forgot one tiny detail. I was the only person with the admin password to our main server, and in exactly 4 hours, the entire system was scheduled for a mandatory update only I could authorize. Here's how I turned his efficient decision into a $10 million mistake. I worked as a system administrator for a mid-sized tech firm for 3 years. I was essentially a one-man IT department. I handled everything from fixing printers to managing a government-contracted database worth $10 million. My boss, Rick, was the definition of a corporate shark. He drove a Porsche but complained about the cost of coffee in the break room. For months, he'd been hinting at restructuring. I didn't realize that restructuring meant getting rid of the person who knows where the bodies are buried. It was my 5th wedding anniversary. My wife, Sarah, came to the office at 5 p.m. so we could go to our dinner reservation. As we were walking toward the elevator, Rick stepped out of his office. In front of my wife and the entire lobby, he handed me a cardboard box. He said, "Your services are no longer required, effective immediately. Security will escort you out." I asked him about the server migration scheduled for 2 a.m. He laughed and said, "It's just a computer, we'll figure it out. Now get out before I call the police." My wife was humiliated. I was fuming. But as I walked out, I realized something. The migration required a 24-character encryption key that rotates every day at midnight, and I was the only one who had the generator. At 2:15 a.m., my phone started exploding. 42 missed calls, 15 texts, all from Rick. I let it ring. At 2:30 a.m., I finally picked up. Rick was screaming so loud I had to hold the phone away from my ear. "The servers are down. The government auditors are trying to log in and the whole system is locked. Give me the password now." I calmly told him, "Rick, you told me I was no longer an employee. Per company policy, sharing security credentials with unauthorized personnel is a federal offense. I'm just following your rules." Rick started begging. He told me if the system didn't go live by 4 a.m., they would lose the $10 million contract and the company would fold. I told him I'd be happy to help as an independent consultant. My fee? $50,000 up front, paid via wire transfer, and a signed release admitting I was fired without cause. He called me a thief. I told him happy anniversary and hung up. He didn't pay. The servers stayed dark. The government pulled the contract the next morning. 3 days later, I got a call from the board of directors. They had fired Rick for gross negligence and offered me a consultant contract to rebuild the system for triple my old salary. I took the deal. Rick is currently being sued by the investors, and I just bought my wife the anniversary trip of her dreams. What would you have done in my position? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more revenge stories.